おかえりなさい。皆さん. Welcome back to another Nihongo video. So, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why I'm so excited today because today is lesson 6. And I'm very excited for today's lesson. This is the lesson I'm on. You guys are so close to the lesson I'm on. I'm on lesson 7 currently, and this is lesson 6. So excited because we have another grammar rule, which is TEF form. But before we get into TEF form, you guys already know we have a story at the beginning of every lesson, and I'm gonna go ahead and read. So the first story is basically Robert being in class. Today's lesson is gonna be a day in Robert's life. So number 1 in class. So this is Yamashita Sensei, Roberto-san. 次のページを読んでください. Robert doesn't respond. 山下先生、ロバートさん、起きてください。クラスで寝てはいきませんよ。ロバートさん says、先生、教科書を忘れました。山下先生 says、教科書を持ってきてくださいね。持ってきてくださいね。毎日使いますから。ロバートさん said、はい、すみません。So, for the first, it says Professor Yamashita. Robert, please read the next page. Robert doesn't respond. Professor, Robert, please wake up. You cannot sleep in this class. Mr. Yamashita. Robert says, Mr. Yamashita, I forgot to bring the textbook. Professor Yamashita says, please bring your textbook with you. We use it every day. Robert says, I understand. I'm sorry. Number 2 says, after class, so Sora says, Robato-san, 今日は大変でしたね. Robato-san says, 後でソラさんのノートを帰りてもいいですか? So, third one says, いいですよ. Fourth says, ありがとう. すぐ返します. My bad, I was trying to see that words. I'm so nosy. But anyway, ソラ、ロバートさん、明日テストがありませんよ. Basically, and Robertoさん says, 本当ですか? And Soraさん says, ロバートさん he says, 今日に休みましたからね. And Robertoさん says, じゃあ今日は家に帰って勉強します. So, number 2, Sora says, Robert, you had a hard time today. Robert says, yes, may I borrow your notebook later, Sora? And yeah, it is about to rain. If you guys hear thunder, I'm out here in the heat of day. I'm out here in the heat of battle right now. Right in the middle when it's about to storm. But I don't care. We're going to keep going. It feels really good out here too, so. Sora says, yes. And Robert says, thank you. I'll return it soon. Sora says, remember, we will have a test tomorrow. And Robert says, really? 本当ですか? Sora says, yes, you were absent from the class last Friday. Robert, well then, I'll go home and study today. The last story on the bus. おばあさん meaning grandmother. すみません。このボスは桜病院へ行きますか? Robertoさん says, 行きますよ. どうぞ座ってください. おばあさん says, いいえ、結構いいです。すぐありますから. Robertoさん says, そうですか。じゃあ、荷物を持ちましょうか. おばあさん says, どうもすみません. Number 3. Old woman, excuse me, does this bus go to Sakura Hospital? Robert, yes it does. Well, take this seat, please. Old woman, no thank you. I'll get off soon. Robert says, is that so? Then shall I hold your bag for you? Old woman says, thank you. Gonna go ahead and show you guys the story now. And it's the English translation. Okay, so now onto the vocabulary for the story we just read. So for some nouns, we have nouns. One more adjective, which is taihen. Taihen na, which means like a tough situation. You could say like a difficult problem, but I forgot how to say problem in Japanese. Jesus. You could say taihen na. It's used for tough situations, so you wouldn't just go around using it, normally. It's used for situations. We got some u verbs, new verbs, more irregular verbs, and more adverbs and other expressions that you can add on to sentences. So let's go ahead and read nouns first. Kanji or Chinese character is kanji. Textbook is kyokaso. Page is peiji. Next is sugi. Money is okane or kane. Okane, meaning it's basically way more formal. Personal computer, pankon, shower, air conditioner, aircon, electricity or light, denki, window, mado, train, densha, country or place of origin, kuni, this week, konshu, next week, raishu, next year, rainen, night, yoru. For not adjective like I just explained, taihen, which means a tough situation. U verb, to play or to spend time with pleasantly, asobu, to hurry, isogu, to return a thing or person. If you are returning a person, you would use the particle ni, and if you are returning a thing, it would be o. Now, only reason why you would use person for ni is because remember, goal of movement. If you're o, direct objective for a thing, great. So, kaisu, to return a thing or a person. To turn off or to erase, you can use this to turn off like a light. Let's say dinki, you would say dinki kesu, or you would conjugate it into the te form, but we're gonna get into te form soon. So kesu means to turn off or to erase. To die is shine. To sit down is suaru. To stand up is tasu. To smoke is tabako su. To use, and you would use o after this objective. Suka. To help or person. To help person, task, o. Tedaru. So tesudaru. Sorry, I was so out of it trying to read that, and I was like, wait, that isn't a small su. So it was like tesudaru, like tesudate. But the page is flipped on its own. Okay, so now more up here. So we got hayeru. Hayeru means to enter. To carry or to hold something is mosu. To be absent from or to rest is yasumi. Yasumu, my bad. So ru verbs, to open something is akeru. After these, behind these ru verbs that I'm going to tell you guys, always use the particle o as a direct objective. So to close something, it would be shimeru. To teach or to instruct, it would be oshieru. Or person ni, or you want to teach them about a thing, o. To forget or to leave behind, wasureru. To get off, oriru. To borrow, person ni, thing, o. Kariru. To take a shower, shawa o obite. Wait, I didn't mean to say obite. I already wanted to conjugate to death form. So to take a shower is shawa o obiru. You want to take a shower. Shawa o obite. Or to turn on is sukeru. Now some irregular verbs, which would mean they wouldn't be conjugated normally, they would be conjugated in a different sense. So it would be probably conjugated in like a u sense, but I'm going to teach you guys how to do that in just a second. To call is den wasuru. To bring a person. Ni, of course. Thing o surete kuru, to bring a thing, o motte kuru. And adverbs or other things, or so later on. Atode means later on. So if somebody asks you something and you want to respond with like later on, you can say atode. So right away, sugu. If somebody wants you to do something right away, you can add sugu next to it. Slowly, leisurely, unhurriedly, yukuri. That would be fine. That wouldn't be necessary. Kakko desu, not kakkoi. Kakko desu. Kakkoi. Kakkoi means good looking. Kakkuyokunai not good looking. That would be fine. That wouldn't be necessary. Kakko desu. Really? Honto desu ka? Now I'm gonna show you guys this. Make sure you guys can see all of this because these are very important to what we're about to do with these. Some of these, well, what we're about to do with the verbs and some of the nouns. So we can add the nouns behind the verbs. Well, the nouns in front of the verbs. Okay. So, te form. Okay, here we go. So, straight from the book, saying te forms are a very important part of Japanese grammar. In this lesson, we will learn among their various uses to use them in making requests, please, forming a sentence that describes two events or activities, I did this and did that, giving and asking for permission, you may, or may I, stating that something is forbidden, you must not, The conjugation paradigm of te forms is complex, as we need to learn separate rules for ru, and irregular verbs. Furthermore, the rule for u verbs is divided into 5 sub-rules. Now, we have the te form chart. I'm going to read you guys the te form chart, and then I'm going to show you guys how I learned it. So, from right here, I learned te form from right here, but I'm going to show you guys what helped me in a minute. So, for ru verbs, ru transforms to te. So, habaru turns into habete. U verbs with final, only if they have u, su, or ru, they turn into te. Not te, they turn into te, which means a small su and te. So we have ate, motte, tolte. So to meet, to wait, or to do. And tolte will be used for shashin, like shashin tolte. So ku is it isn't an exception. You would say ite. So kaku to write, kaite. Iku, ite. Now for gu, ide. So we have oyogu, oyoide. Su is shite. Hanasu, hanashite. Remember, these are with final words. So I'm going to show you guys in a minute though. So irregular verbs, suru turns into shite and kuru turns into kite. I'll show you guys that up close. So, I lost my flashcards, guys. Oh, did it? So, now I'm gonna get into how I learned te form. So I have my flashcards right here, and how I learned te form in general is I kept looking it up and I kept seeing all type of examples. So one thing that massively helped me, these flashcards and a te form song that is widely used. So we have au, just like I read, au that transforms to ate. Small su, if it has u, su, or ru, it has a small su and te. So we have au, ate, masu, mate, toru, tote. Then we have things that end with mu, bu, or net. Those turn into nde. So we have yomu, yonde, asobu, asonde, asonde. We have shine, shinde. And now for And now for like the irregular verbs and everything, we have kaku, kaite, kesu. We have kesu, keshite. Shite. And now we have isogu. It would be isoide. Now the song goes like this. So I take all of these and we start the song, right? So it goes, Au atemasu matte toru tote, yomu yonde asobu asonde shinu shinde, kaku kaite kesu keshite isogu isoide, mina ubabu tefonu. And that helped me a lot. It got the rhyme in my head. For su, and ru, it turns into small su, te. For mu, bu, and net, it turns into nde. For kaku, kesu, isogu, it turns into ide. It turns into ite. Guys. Kaku turns into ite. Kesu turns into shite. Isogu turns into ide.
Hey y'all! Oh my god! Y'all look at his head, check that out. Hey! Come on now!
Alright. So that's what helped me learn TEF form. And that helped me get through a brick wall. So now you can add those in sentences. Now we're gonna go to the next part. Note that TEF forms and stems, the forms you find before mas of an u verb are totally different from each other. While they look similar in ru verbs, tabete and tabemasu, be careful not to come up with improper forms such as aite. And aite would be wrong because it's supposed to be ate, not aite. It's supposed to be ate. Compare aimasu and yomite. Compare yomimasu and compare yomimasu. In u verbs, you may want to memorize each verb as a set. As in kaku, kakimasu, kaite. Remember, refer to the verb conjugation table at the end of this volume, page 382. But yes, they're right. You want to memorize each one as a set. So, u, su, and ru, te. Those were the ending is su, small su, te. Mu, bu, ne. All end with nde. Kaku ends with ite. Kesu, which is irregular, ends with shite. Just like suru ends with shite. Only one that doesn't end, kudu ends with kite. Isogu, gu ending ends with ide. Isogu, isoide. So now we have te kudasai. Use the verb. So can I enter? Hayate kudasai. May I enter? So, and yeah, you see what I did there? You can use many verbs, many u verbs, many ru verbs, and it will turn into te. Or you can turn it into a command. Yeah, like they're gonna show you guys if I get into the page. So number 2, te kudasai. Use a formal te form together with kudasai to make a polite request to another person. Please do ... for me. So we have kyokasho o yonde kudasai. Please read the book. So remember, like I said, so we have yonde and yomu. That's the dictionary form. You guys want to, the most important part is to memorize the dictionary form so you'll know which column they go to. So yomu, mu. Remember, mu ends with nde. Yonde. So we have kyokasho o yonde kudasai. Please read the book. And now we have sumimasen, choto osoi oshiete kudasai. Please teach me a little. I'm gonna show you guys that. That's right over there. Perfect. Make sure you guys got that. So now we have describing 2 activities. So you can use a te form to combine 2 or more verbs, as in describing a sequence of events or actions. I did this and then I did that. In other words, the te form does the work of and with verbs. So basically connecting 2 things together when you're talking about something. Note that two verbs cannot be joined by to because they only connect certain things. So, note that two verbs cannot be joined by to. Only two nouns can, only two things can, like iya to uchi, my house and someone else's house. So, which only connects nouns. The tense of the verb at the end of each sentence determines when these events take place. Now I'm going to read an example sentence, English first, Japanese. I will go to the library and check out some books. So we have 図書館に行って本を借ります。I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that. Then I'm going to go ahead and get into the last two. So we have 今日は6時に起きて勉強しました。Today I got up at 6 and studied. So let's go to the cafeteria and have lunch. So we have 食堂に行って昼ご飯を食べましょうか。Not 食べましょうか。食べましょう. If you would say 食べましょうか, you would say, what, it's an invitation to, do you want to eat? Yeah, will you go eat? Will you go eat with me? The te form of a verb can also be used to connect a verb more loosely with the rest of a sentence. In the first example below, the verb in the te form describes the manner in which the action described by the second verb is performed. In the second example, the te form describes the situation for which the apology is made. So, if you are talking to a very close friend or family member, a te form by itself can use as a request. So you would say like Mata o okite. So akite. So you would say Mata o akite. So basically that means please open the window. Mate o, because mado o akite. So because it's also like, how can I put this? Well, basically it's a direct objective. A window is object, right? So you would use o for that direct objective. Use the right particle. Then you would use the verb conjugation, which is the te form, which would be akete. So you would say mado o akite. Open the window, will you? So now we have some more sentences. I go to work by bus, or I take a bus to work. So we have バスに乗って会社に行きます. Then we have I am sorry for not bringing an English textbook. 教科書を忘れてすみません. Now we have 手もいです. So 手もいです meaning to ask permission, or you may not answer. So a verbal te form plus もいです means you may do. Now, which describes an activity that is permitted. To ask for permission, you can turn it into a question sentence, obviously adding a question mark, which would be kai, which would be 手もいですか? So, if somebody asks for permission and if you want to grant it, you can either repeat the whole verb and say 手もいです. Te form plus もいです construct, or you can just say いいです. Te needs to be a part of a verb and cannot stand alone. You cannot just say 手もいです or もいです. The polite and graceful way to grant permission is to say どうぞ. So, you may use the textbook. 100個書を見てもいいですよ. 見てもいいですよ. You may use the textbook. May I go to the bathroom? You would say トイレに行ってもいいですか? And either you repeat the whole thing もいいです or you can say いいです or どうぞ. You may or please はいいいですよ or you can say はいどうぞ. You guys saw that blue? Now we have Now we have はいけません はいけません. I don't know why I had to repeat that so many times. So a verbal te form plus はいけません means you must not do. Hence, ません negative. So we have a strong prohibition statement as in rules and regulations. So you must not take pictures here. So ここで写真を撮ってはいけません. You must not take pictures here. If somebody asks you for permission but you want to deny it, you can use はいけません. はいけません. But the sentence may sound too harsh unless you are in a place of authority, like a guard or something, or police. We will learn a softer way to say please don't and listen in. So now we have kara. Honestly, kara still confuses me, but a sentence that explains what kara it means because explains the reason or the cause of the situation, a proposal, and so forth. Only reason why I said I don't really understand kara is because how it has different meanings for different things you would use in a sentence sometimes. So it would be the situation first, period. Then the explanation. After the explanation, you would say kara. So we have an example right here. I will study this evening because we have an exam tomorrow. So it says, 私は今晩勉強します。私は今晩勉強します。明日テストがあります。ありますから。So, 明日テストがありますから。So, because we have because I have a test tomorrow. So, now we have another sentence. Let's go by bus because taxis are expensive. So, バスに乗りましょう。タクシーは高いですから。That's the explanation. Why are taxis expensive? So, タクシーは高いですから。So that's his explanation. He doesn't want to go on a taxi because taxis are expensive. You will use a kara after that. So number 7 is mashoka and offering assistance. So in lesson 5 we learned mashoka meaning of let's, or mashoka is also used in a sense of let me do and offering assistance. If you see somebody having a hard time opening the lid of a bottle, for an example, you can offer help by saying 私がやりましょうか I'll do it. Or to a person who is carrying a heavy bag, shall I carry your bag? 荷物を持ちましょうか So, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys all of that. As you guys can really see this, because this stuff is important. These are new grammar rules. Now we have the Japanese educational system. I'm gonna read over this, guys, but this is not a part of TED form in any sense, but we do have some TED form practice. I'm gonna go over that in another video because we also have multiple practices for TED form. So I'm gonna go over that myself because we have practices using Emoi desu ka? And then we have practices using 勉強します。明日テストがありますから。And then we have basically a bunch of examples. Something that needs its own video because this video will be too long. So the Japanese educational system, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys that right there. So that'll be at the end of the video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I sure did. And hopefully this video really gets out to you more because TED form is very important. TED form is used for grammar rules, grammar changes, more conjugation. It introduces a plethora into Japanese verbs, into extending everything, extending verbs, kara. You can use TED forms, then you can keep, changing sentences with TED and using kara. So there's a lot you can do. Use it to your full advantage if you're really studying it. So that will be the end of today's video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. As always, it's your host, JV. Ja Mata.